You're listening to Hunting the Front Lines, part of the Praying and Slaying Podcast Network. This show is led by retired Army Sergeant Justin Wilson and dedicated to the men and women hunters who serve or have served in the U.S. military and chase game wherever they're stationed. From on-base hunts to wild ground just outside the wire, Hunting the Front Lines is your go-to resource for scouting new terrain, learning the ropes, and making the most of every opportunity at your next duty station. Now let's dive in.
All right, welcome back everybody to the Hunting the Front Lines podcast. I'm your host, Justin Wilson, and today we have a very special guest. We have a Mr. Matt Rigg. Now, I'm not going to go too much into his background. I'm going to let him tell that story. It's pretty interesting. But he's an active duty drill sergeant right now, and he's going to talk about a lot of trying to think of the word to use here. Do I want to say exciting or do I want to say crazy? I'll stick more with the crazy stories of basic training, the things as a drill sergeant he's seen, heard, experienced, whatever you want to say. And also he's going to give us his perspective from the other side of that, being a private going through basic training. I'm going to use this is going to be kind of a split episode for me. It's going to be kind of the part of it's going to be for the back to basic that I want to get going, you know, with telling stories from basic training and stuff like that. And then also he's going to talk about, he just got back in November or December. I don't want to say exact dates. I'll let him tell about it. But he was on a hunt in Texas. He's going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about hunting in Missouri around Fort Leonard Wood and stuff. So like I always say, get your popcorn, get your drink, and sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And I want to say, too, if you guys have any recommendations on things I can do with this to make it more entertaining for you, let me know. Hit me up, shoot me a message, post something on Spotify or any of the other platforms and let me know. And, we'll see where it goes. All right. Let's get on with it. Oh, you're good, man. You're good. So how's it going?
Tired.
I bet.
Worked half a day and clean up a little bit of the stuff around the house today, and now I'm here, man. Just sat down for like 30 minutes with the wife, and now we're doing this. So,
well, I'll get you through quick, man, so you can get back to the families. I know. So I'll be honest, you're the first active duty drill sergeant I've had on so far.
Oh, nice.
Others are supposed to come on, so I've had this podcast going since last year. What I do is I always come on, I have guests come on, talk about hunting different military bases. I like getting that information out because I hunt all over the U.S. And every time I go to a different base or different state to hunt, I always call DNR and get the lowdown to make sure I'm following all the rules and regulations. And I like getting the information out from guys that hunt the bases and stuff like that. But at the end of the year last year, I wanted to do something different because I've had a lot of buddies of mine that are civilians, never served in the military, nothing like that. And they always ask me, because you got all these different shows that come out about the Marines going through basic training and all this. They always ask me, man, is it really like that? Yeah, it really is. So I thought, I want to start a new episode, a new segment this year called Back to Basic. So I really, I've had a couple buddies of mine come on and talk about their experiences as trainees, but I'm really excited to get you to talk about your experience from the drill sergeant side of it. Because, any guy any guy or gal that's never served, they have no idea, number one, what your job entails, how many hours you guys put into this. And then, I was never a drill sergeant. I was an instructor at Leonard Wood for for trainees. But I was never a drill sergeant. So you guys put in a lot more hours than I ever did. So I just want to talk about your background, what got you wanting to join the military, your military path to get you to be a drill sergeant, and then we'll go into the crazy stuff you guys see as drill sergeants.
Sure. So
tell me, where'd you grow up?
All right, the easy part. So talk about myself.
Hey, yep.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in Texas, Hill Country, San Marcos, New Braunfels area. Was there my whole life, really. Did a little stint with my stepdad in Michigan, but I don't remember too much of it. But yeah, majority in Texas.
Okay.
I didn't start hunting really until I killed my first deer when I was 9 years old with my uncle Jim in Georgetown, Texas, with a 243. It was a big doe. But after that, I really didn't do too much more hunting. I wasn't really into fishing when I was a kid. Like I was just fascinated with any type of water, creek or river, lake. I just love to go down there and see all the, the fishes, turtles, snakes, whatever was down there. I was just trying to catch it, mess with it. And then didn't really get back into hunting until I was probably 17 years old.
Wow. Okay.
Met up with my dad, and he took me out to this other spot, kind of by where we hunt now, and shot a couple hogs. And then they kind of just came back to me. I felt that same excitement I felt when I was that 8 or 9 year old that shot that doe. I was just fascinated with it all again. And so after that, I just got obsessed with it and just kept going. I joined the Army 2014. The reason I joined the Army is because, I was working at a warehouse in Texas. I don't know if you ever heard of HEB. It's a big old grocery store in Texas. Well,
yes.
I was working at the warehouse, but on the side, my dad was an HVAC mechanic, and I would help him do HVAC work. And that's what I wanted to do eventually. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, you got to go to school to get these license, and this is how much it costs, and yada, yada. And then one day I was kind of talking about it with my buddy who had been in the military. He was a 91 Bravo. And he was like, bro, the Army has that job. And, it's 91 Charlie is what it is, or what used to be. I don't know if it's still that. He said, they'll send you to school and you get certified. You get your license and then get out and go work with your dad. And so I was like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So instead of having to try to pay for it myself.
Yep.
So I joined as a 91 Charlie. I went to Jackson for basic. And then after that, I went to AIT in Virginia, Fort Lee. I think they still call it Fort Lee.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I went there, got my cert, license. Perfect, So I had a 3-year contract. I was like, okay, I'll do my 3 years and I'll get out. I get stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. And I'm working there for a little while. But I end up actually kind of liking the Army. I like not necessarily the MOS, but we went to the field, rucking, battle tactics, all that stuff. I was like, I kind of like this stuff. It's interesting. So, but I don't want to do it as my job now. So I go to retention, and he's like, bro, you want to do all that cool guy stuff, then go to the infantry, reclass to infantry. So I did. I reclassed to infantry, but I was 11 Charlie. So this was 2017-ish. So I reclassed to 11 Charlie. I go back to basic training again as a specialist. You're treated like absolute dog crap. Just all over again, but worse because it's in Benning.
Yep.
I go through it all again. Graduate as an 11 Charlie. I get stationed in Fort Hood, and I'm ecstatic about it because it's only 2 hours away from where I'm from.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm like, cool, I'll be close to home. So I moved with my family. I have a wife. I have 2 boys. So I moved there. Get stationed 2-5 Cav. And it's a heavy unit. So we're in 113s. Those things are coffins, essentially.
Yeah.
Get there, and they're like, yeah, man, we're going to Europe for Operation Atlantic Resolve. That's what it was called. So we go to Europe, Poland, Belgium, Bulgaria, Germany. And I liked the training, but my command was just extremely, I hate to use the word toxic because that's the word they use, but that's what they were. not a care in the world for you or your family's well-being. They just, they didn't care.
Yep.
We had an incident where we're placing a mortar system on a hill, and our brakes fell in my 113, and so we go down this hill, essentially a roller coaster ride down this steep hill.
Wow.
We crashed to this huge tree. My driver, his whole wrist is shattered. And they all come pull us out of there. My ribs are on fire. I didn't break anything. I just got some bruised ribs. First sergeant comes down, and he just starts yelling at me while my driver's screaming in pain, holding his wrist. It's a real world situation. He starts screaming at me, yelling at me, and telling me that he's going to charge me for any damage and all this stuff. So, and at that point in time, I was like, you know what? Maybe this was a bad idea. Maybe I should just get out. This was a bad idea.
Oh, man.
So all that comes over with. I come back. We're there for 11 months. I come back, and I'm like, and I tell my wife, I think I want to get out. This was a bad idea. I do not like this side of the Army. I don't remember who did it or who convinced me, but somebody's like, you should just reclass again. And I was like, why? I reclassed already. They're like, you can reclass again. I said, really? Let me talk to retention. Well, what do I want to do? Because I was kind of on the mechanic side of things, and I was on the infantry side of things. Like, what else is there to do? Nothing really caught my attention or anything like that. And just when I was about to say, no, I'm not re-enlisting, I'm going to get out. Because I'm already in Texas. I'm just going to go home.
Yep.
31 Bravo comes across. Military police, BNMP. Pull people over for going 1 mile an hour, 1 miles an hour over, People hate you, All right, that sounds like, okay, you know what? I think I can do that. So I reclassed again for the third time. And I get sent to Fort Leonard Wood for AIT. Yep. At this point, I'm a E5. I get to Leonard Wood. I'm like, I can't believe I got to be the dumbest person in the world to be going to basic train for the third time. What am I doing? At this point, it's just supporting my family,
You're a glutton for punishment.
Yes. And I get there, and it's nothing like what I experienced. I'm an NCO. They're like, hey, you just need to do the AIT portion. Once you're done for the day, you can bounce. I get there. I actually pick up. I pick up as a staff sergeant while I'm in Fort Leonard Wood.
Wow.
So there's that. And then, long story short, I graduate and I get sent to Fort Drum. Fort Drum, I'm a squad leader. And I really loved it. I loved that whole point, that whole portion of my military career. I was like, okay, I'm back on track. I'm doing something I really like. My command team's amazing, And then from there, I'm a platoon sergeant. Then I get orders for Fort Leonard Wood. So I'm already in Fort Leonard Wood at the MP station. I'm doing that for a few years. I hated it. I was like, you know what? I do not like the law enforcement side of this. I like the field. I like to be out and training with the troops and all that stuff.
Yep.
So there's that. And then that's when I get orders for a drill. I get an email, HRC. What is this? The hell does this mean? Drill Sergeant Academy. Shoot. All right. So I didn't volunteer to be a drill sergeant. No, I did not. I was selected. And they try to make it sound all fancy, like you're the top whatever percent of NCOs that made the cut to go to the Drill Sergeant Academy to teach the young heroes of America. It's you should see some of the candidates, I'll call them candidates, that show up to the academy. Some of them have been put on a kit in 4 or 5 years of being an NCO, So it's interesting to see the people that they show up to the Drill Sergeant Academy, and it's a horror show day one, because you got like 50, half of them don't want to be there.
Yep.
Or they're trying to figure out, how do I get out of this? And they're coming up with all kinds of excuses and whatever. And some of them did volunteer and they do want to be there and they understand that it's going to help their career in the long run. But yeah, so it's interesting nonetheless to see this group of NCOs all huddled together. You got some high speeds, you got some low speeds, you got some people in the middle. Is pretty much where I was. You got some people that are just completely terrified to be there. You know, asking for help for everything because it's like, bro, you're a staff sergeant, man. Like you're acting like you're like a day zero private. You're just chill out. You know, I was told that majority of Army schools are created so you don't fail.
Yep.
You know, and the Joe Sergeant Academy is essentially one of those schools. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
my camera freeze.
No, you're good.
Okay.
There's times it kind of starts to it, but then it goes right back. So what was it like, man? Because when I went through basic training, I went through in 1996, and we had 3 guys that were 82nd that had reclassed to be MPs, and 2 of them were NCOs. One of them was a specialist. The specialist got housed with us, and he didn't go. They got put into our AIT class too, so they missed basic training. But what was it like going through that reclass and going back through all that stuff again? I couldn't imagine.
Fort Benning, you know, I was a specialist and it's Fort Benning. So, like I said, I was treated like a day zero private. You know,
oh man,
my rank or whatever experience I had didn't matter. You know, I was in the trenches with the rest of the trainings. You know, there was a E5 that was with me that was reclassing as well. He got dropped. He failed the PT test, believe it or not. Failed it twice, so they dropped him. Yeah.
Wow.
But when I was for the MP, they treated me like an NCO. You know, they didn't. Well, there was this one senior drill sergeant that kind of had it out for me. I don't know why she didn't like me, but she'd come around, you know, looking for problems. But she didn't. I mean, I didn't really focus on her. Most of the drills just treated me like an NCO. You know.
Okay.
There was a staff sergeant on the adjacent company because I was Echo, and this was 787. So I was Echo 787. He was Delta 787. Staff sergeant, marching with the trainees, eating the defect with the trainees, everything like that. And I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna do that. There's no way." Because when I got there, that senior was like, "You're gonna march with us. You're gonna eat with us. You're gonna fall in a platoon." I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, I'm here for AIT. I'm a non-commissioned officer. I'm not going to be in a platoon with these. Go ahead and put me in a platoon with trainees and see what happens. It's not going to go good. You know, I'm not a trainee.
No.
After that, the first sergeant squashed it, and it was honestly just going to another school, like somewhat of an academy, you would say. You know, I just show up, do the test, do the training, and then leave for the day, hit the gym, whatever. Maybe go out and have a few brews, but that's about it.
I always wondered, man, because like I said, the 3 that we had come in, one was a specialist, the other 2 were NCOs, and the one guy he made a lasting impression on me because I mean, really, really easygoing guy. Now he was a staff sergeant at the time. He marched with us to class, but I learned a lot from the guy. I mean, he talked to us just like we were just friends, and he was kind of telling all of us how the Army really was. But I'll never forget it, man. Day 1 when they showed up on the CTA, he took his beret off and his hair dropped down to about his knees. And I thought, man,
yeah.
I thought in the Army we weren't allowed to have hair like that. And that's when, like, we had 2 drill sergeants that were really cool. They would talk to us like people. They would kind of educate us on the Army, educate us on what our jobs were, could be, all this. And they're like, yeah, but there's certain MOSs where they kind of let stuff like that go a little bit. And he's in one of those. Oh, okay. But I mean, he was a really cool guy, but we get done with class and they would disappear. Well, I always figured they were kind of going back to, I didn't know if they were staying in a hotel, staying in the barracks. I don't know where they were. But I always wondered, you guys coming in as NCOs, what happens with you guys? So I didn't know.
Yeah. It honestly depends. Like that one NCO, he was marching with them and eating with them, and I guess he just didn't want to say no. But I said no. I was absolutely not. I'm not a trainee. I'm not going to go sit in the DFAC and eat with them. And while everybody's getting yelled at, that's not who. No way. I'm
No, I
pretty
don't
sure there's
blame
a memorandum that states that too. I'm pretty sure I found it, but yeah, they put me in some barracks across the post. So like I said, it was just like it just felt like TDY, another school at that point. So
All right. So then so we don't have to say any company names, none of that. What's it like now being on the other side of that coin? So you've gone through it pretty much 3 times now as a trainee in some form or fashion. What's it like now being on the other side of that coin, though? Now you're seeing it from the other side.
well, I think like it all depends. It depends on who because there's different drill sergeants, and I've been doing this for almost about over a year and a half now. I've about to have 4 cycles under my belt.
Okay.
So I've seen the drills that just scream and yell,
Yep.
which is okay in some points. I've seen the drills that hide behind those drills that scream and yell.
Yeah.
And every now and then swoop in for a couple punches, and not literally, but
Yeah.
swoop in.
Yeah.
I've seen drills that just quiet and just didn't have it in them to scream or yell. And I've seen drills that were excellent mentors, but just could not, just fail to instill discipline in the trainings. When we're out in the field or we're in the range and a trainee can't qual and they're crying and they think they're going to get recycled, I've seen those drills take off the hat, talk to these trainees and essentially have them go on the line and they qualify.
Okay.
But when we get back to the company or we're marching, they just don't make disciplinary corrections. So you have to kind of swoop all those groups together. That's what you should be trying to do, because you want to be the drill where you walk in and the privates kind of shit themselves when they see you. But you also want to be that drill where they're like, if they really need to talk to someone, you have that approachable aspect where they can come talk to you about something and they know you're not going to tell them to go away.
Yeah.
So I'm a drill sergeant, man. You're a financial advisor.
Yep.
You're a marriage counselor. You're a life counselor, anger management, emotional counselor, all things under the sun. That's who you are. You realize that. I realized that about 2 cycles in. Like, dude, I'm all these jobs. I'm all these jobs in one underneath this hat.
Yep.
And so it can be overbearing. There's days where I've answered a million questions, given a million directives and block of instructions and training, and I'm done. I need to go sit somewhere. Me and the rest of the cadre need to sit somewhere, and there's 20 privates lined up at the CQ line that need to ask you questions, or there's an issue in the bay, or there's something going on in their lives, or hey, I had a phone call and my mom's not doing well, or my girlfriend left me. And then you take care of all those 20 privates, and then you turn around, there's 20 more privates waiting behind them.
Yep.
And it's like, sheesh, and the thing is like, there's that human form, that human form that you have to wear for them to a degree, but at the same time, you kind of have to hide it. So if that makes sense, I can't hide that I'm tired, or I can't hide that I'm sick or frustrated. Or of course you get frustrated with the trainees. They're trainees. They don't know anything.
Yes.
You're teaching them. But you can't get to the frustrated parts where it's like you don't know what you're doing. Something along those lines. So it's not just I'm a drill sergeant. I go in, I yell, private spear me, I walk around, and people call it ease, and there's a million eyes on me because I'm wearing this hat. So they watch everything you do and how you look and how you react. It's not that easy. That I'm just a drill sergeant. There's, like I said, a million jobs under that hat. and
Oh yeah.
there's days where, well, essentially graduation, because they're all leaving, they're getting out of my life. I'm like, bro, get out of here, private, and those are the days where I feel grateful to have the opportunity to be a drill sergeant and teach these kids and mentor these kids and get them ready for life and everything like that in the Army. And there's days where I call my wife and I'm like, I can't do it. I'm done. I can't do this no more. And it's not even the trainees, it's the other drill sergeants, really. It's the command. I'm tired of X, Y, and Z with the arguments, and this drill is beating their chest because they did this, and this drill wants recognition for that, and it's not the trainees you have to worry about. Unfortunately, it's the other drill sergeants you have to worry about. And I'm not trying to put like a stain on the drill sergeant stuff, but unfortunately, that has been the case like 95% of the time. I don't leave home and call my wife and tell her, like, I really hate this trainee. I don't like the way they're acting. I call her. I'm like, this drill sergeant's just getting under my skin. It's contradicting what I'm doing, or you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you're out there working with the trainees, but you also have to work with the cadre. You also have to be successful as a team, because essentially, and you've heard it before, reflection of leadership.
Yes.
So when you take your company to the DFAC, or marching down to Building 912 to get on trans, or go to range, or STEM village, with the instructors, how they're disciplined, how they act is a reflection of you. And you can't really hide from that. You can't hide that, and there's companies you see that are horrible. There's companies that you're like, okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. These privates are squared away. There's companies kind of mixed. I'm not trying to be biased or anything, but I think my company is probably the best one. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I really do. I think we're just hard enough on these trainees through the whole cycle, to where they know that, because towards the end, right before they graduate, the drill sergeants may or may not have a change of character depending on how they act. If they're disciplined soldiers and they're doing the right thing, and we see it, we might not be friendly per se, because we're definitely not there to be their friends.
Yeah.
But we're more along the lines of how Force Com will act, NCO to private.
You're more, you get to show a little bit more of the human side.
Yes, exactly, the human side.
That's the one thing, man. I recorded an episode here just a while back, and I screwed up somehow. I recorded it, and instead of recording on the cloud, I recorded on my computer somehow, and my computer changed it to a different format. But I had Michael Bennett on.
Yep, and I know who he is.
Yeah, we were talking about that. And I was like, that's the one thing that really stuck out to me. And I ran into probably half my drill sergeants throughout my career. And you never forget them. I mean, they make an impact on your life. You never forget them. But you always remember the ones that always had that one human moment where they could kind of relate to you, relate to what you're going through. As they've been through it before you went through it. But now you got this guy that's, and deep down they're trying to mold you and mentor you. But as an 18-year-old kid, a lot of kids aren't used to that. And this is the first time a lot of these kids are away from home. And it's nice to have somebody that's in that authority position, that leadership position, to show that human side for a minute and relate to you and talk to you like a person instead of a private. Because there is a difference. People don't realize that. But there's a difference talking to a private and talking to a person. And that's, I saw you guys, man. I was at Leonardwood from, 2012 to 14, I believe. I worked, like I said, I worked as an instructor. I worked more on like range 4, the Nick at Night range. I worked at AT4 range, and I really got to see it a lot at the AT4 range out there in the 203, where some of the drill sergeants, we're talking about some of the privates, they're good kids, but they're just having issues with stuff. They would pull them in our office, because we had that huge office at the AT4 range. I don't know if it's still there, but they'd pull them in there.
No, the AT4 range is done. I don't think it's out there anymore. They don't have it in training. Yeah.
Oh man, damn. Yeah, they would pull them in there and talk to them and just kind of just show that human side a little bit, I guess. And you could kind of see the light bulb in the private's eyes just kind of go, okay, yeah, and they would kind of get it. And it's like, man, it was really cool for me to sit back and watch that. It's like, man, it's kind of like a taboo moment for a drill sergeant because you're not supposed to, like you said, take off the hat, but it does help at times. And that's the one thing, man. It always kind of got me. I was like, man, and I would talk to drill sergeants about, man, that was pretty cool. You could see the private, you could see the light bulb come up. They got it now. Some kids just don't really take too well to being yelled at all the time. They just don't.
Oh, they don't. Especially now, they don't. This, and I don't want to sound like, oh, this new generation or these new privates, the new army.
Yeah.
Someone's always gonna say that. My uncle joined like not in the 90s, and he's told me the same thing. When he joined, they were like, oh, this new army's soft. And then 2000s, I had a cousin join this army, the same thing.
Yeah.
And the best thing about the army, our military, everybody's got something to say.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's got to one up somebody, and then
Yeah.
especially now with social media, it happens all the time. But in the army, everybody's got to one up somebody and say a more clever thing, or oh, this generation is just soft and weak. And no, it's been like everybody says that every decade. There's some old crusty, bitter, retired something that's like, oh, you never done this, you've never been to combat, or you never. Yeah, you can shoot, but not try that with a bullet whizzing over here. Someone's got to say something.
Oh yeah,
just to feel like they're in that place, and whatever. That's fine. Those are people. Those are bitter people. Those people, they become bitter because they always have to compare themselves to somebody. That's how you become bitter.
Yep.
That's something I was told a long time ago, so I'll try not to do that.
Yep.
Anyways, so yes, these privates cave. And I would be lying if I said that I did not enjoy field day for the simple event of screaming and yelling and terrifying these trainees on day zero. I love it. It's exhilarating.
Yeah.
They shit themselves. I'm sorry for my cussing on there.
No, hey, this podcast is out there for hunters and everybody else and veterans. You talk how you want to talk, man. That's how all veterans talk.
Right.
We do.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
Don't apologize.
So you walk into 43rd, because I know you remember 43rd.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And in 43rd, there's drills there now, but it's not the same. They yell at them, make corrections, but it ain't. They're under a microscope over there. I feel bad for them drills, big time. They're watching. The head hunters are watching 43rd. So we'll get there, put them on the bus. Everybody put your head in the bags, all that stuff. They're shaking. They're literally pissing themselves. They freeze up. They don't know what to do. They're just shaking. And I tell them to get up, get off the bus, and they're just staring at me like I'm not speaking English. They're just, and it's a great day. Because I'm amped up on adrenaline. It is. We're going to be a drill sergeant. So we run them off the bus and put them in formation, and we do our whole fill ceremony, and then we'll get your bags, get them, and then take them upstairs, and then that's where the fun begins. And some of these kids, because we talk to them later on, they drill sergeant on field day. I couldn't move. I was so scared. I thought y'all were gonna hit me, or I thought y'all were gonna drag me away, and I just couldn't do it, or something like that. And they're like, that's why I wasn't responding.
Oh yeah.
So it's a fun time, but you do have those onesies and twosies who just, you can tell they're like, man, I screwed up, man. I should not be here. F this, dude. Hey, drill sergeant, I refuse to train. Like day zero, I'm refusing to train, drill sergeant. And of course, they think the simple fact that they said that, oh, okay, private, my bad. Go ahead and go sit down, and we're going to take you back to the 43rd. No. Every single drill sergeant in the company swarms them.
Who tells them that, though? Who tells them to say that?
I don't want to, not a big name dropper, but I'm pretty sure it's somebody over there where they come from. Because they say, oh, drill sergeant, you're not supposed to, curse. I heard that you're supposed to respect us as human beings and trainees. And of course, yeah, we'll respect you, bro. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We're definitely, and I'm not saying we don't.
Yeah.
We do to a degree, but you have to do that shock and awe. You have to. Now I know you've heard it
Yes.
before. You just got to beat them down to
Yeah.
almost nothing, and then you know that's the whole point of it. You know, the
Yes.
culture shock, if you will.
Yes.
And recently, you know, this last 2 cycles ago, I call it the COVID cycle. A lot of these 18, 17, 18-year-olds were stuck in their house or their homes with masks on and just doing online, you know, shit with their high school, whatever they're doing. And they have no social skills.
Yep.
They don't really, they're it's almost like even they have a hard time executing facial expressions. You know, it's weird. You know, and then I had them fill out all this paperwork, and I get it back, and I'm like, very common words misspelled. I'm like, Price, how do you not know how to spell and or those or the state you're from? You know, what's going on? Well, didn't y'all go to school? And they're like, well, we did, but it was during COVID, and we just did some paperwork, some work on the computer, and then that was it. And then we just played video games, whatever. We couldn't go outside. We had no friends because we couldn't see our friends. And if we did see our friends, we had masks on. And I was like, oh, I'm seeing it now. Seeing some of the results from how it happened. Weirdos, just the weirdest human beings you can think of, all in one room. It's the most awkward people. You know, we get obviously 17, 18-year-olds. I've had 41, 42, 43-year-olds.
Really?
Yes. And these people come from anywhere from they just need the insurance, health insurance for the family, which I respect.
Yeah.
Some come from failed businesses. I had one he was like a realtor, and he lost I don't know what happened, but he just went zero, and he had to do something, so he joined at 42. And you know, he did what he had to do. But some of these, you know, they're mid-30s. I'm like, okay, they know what's up. They can catch on. Some of the worst products I've ever had. Because they're stuck in their ways, you know. They're stuck in their ways. And, you know, well, no one's going to tell me how to do this or that. Or, you know, I don't want some 18-year-old babe boss waking me up for fire guard, you know, at 2 a.m. And, you know, so they've been some of the worst ones I've ever had. And I figured you're more mature. You can handle it. You know what's coming. You know the name of the game. You should know the name of the game.
Yeah.
No, the worst ones. The worst ones. And the best ones I've had came from the worst places. That makes sense. The best troops I've had that just bought in and just went, you know, 100% motivation were the troops that came from the worst situations in life. You know, I had some come from nothing, from no family, from I had one who said that his mom was like a heroin addict and they never had food and they're always moving because she'd always just get with different people and he was always scared for his siblings and this and that, and he joined the army, and this person's getting 3 meals a day, and he has a bed to sleep in, and he has hot water, and this is paradise to him.
Yeah,
and was one of the best troops I ever had, you know, and because they don't want to fail because they know what's back there waiting for them, so they push through, and so, and I back to just. The reward for being a drill sergeant, I think, is seeing people like that, you know, transform to a soldier and walk the stage and get on with their lives. And surprisingly enough, you think as soon as they walk the stage and got their diploma or whatever they get and then go, they'd leave, get away from it. No, they stick around outside. They wait for us. And they ask us 100 questions. And I'm like, Private, I don't know anymore. You don't get out of here. You're not my problem anymore. Get out. Go away. Get on that bus. Get out of here. No, Bussard. No, get out of here. Like, I don't hate you, Private, but I don't want to see you no more. Get out of here. You're done. And they won't leave. And I'm like, you figure they go running, but they don't. They stay there. It's like Stockholm syndrome, if you will. You know what I mean? It's weird.
You've made an impact on their life. That's why. I mean, they're coming from, the 17, 18-year-old kids are coming from high school where, like me, I came from a high school where we had one stoplight in town. I come from a very small town, so they're used to that. They come in there, and then you guys break them all the way down and rebuild them back up to what they need to be a soldier and be successful at that. You make an impact. So, I mean, I've got a couple buddies of mine that were drill sergeants when I was active duty, and they're retired now, like me. And I talk to them, and they're like, man, you know, because a couple of them still live around different bases and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'll see them out every once in a while, and they'll come up and tell me how much of an impact I made. You don't see it as much right now, but you will when you stop your drill time and you move back out into the regular force. You'll see it. You'll see them at these different units, and they're going to tell you how much of an impact you made.
Yeah, and like you said, you remember your drill sergeants, you know?
Yeah. I can name off every single one of them almost.
I don't remember my drill sergeants at all. I hated them. I knew that, you know. I didn't want anything to do with them. I definitely didn't wait around and take pictures with them when I got anything out of there. But even right now, you know, because these troops go off. You know, I had some troops go off to Fort Hood, and I had some buddies there, and they're like, "Hey, did you have Private so and so?" Yeah, I'm like, yeah, they got here. And I said, "Who's your drill sergeant?" I said, "You know, Drill Sergeant Rodriguez." And what company? Tells them the company. Yeah, that's my homie. And they'll send me a picture of him and the soldier, and that soldier's like, you know, Drill Sergeant Rodriguez was a great drill sergeant, and you know, I appreciate everything he did. And you know, I had one say that he wanted to whoop my ass. You know, he's like, "Oh, he was a good drill sergeant, but I want to whoop his ass." So I was like, "You just tell him wait till I get there. We'll fucking go." You know, but, it pays off quicker than you think. You know, and then of course you get friend requests on social media. Oh yeah. Technically, by Rigg, you have to wait 6 months before you can friend them because it's still technically fraternization.
Wow. Okay. See, I didn't know that.
A lot of us changed our names. Because what these creeps do is they get their phones on Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. And I know people, they get their phones, or when I was in, you know, blah, blah, you know, got it. Because I had people tell me that all the time, you know.
Yeah.
You know, your life sucked worse and you're mad about it. I understand. I'd be mad too. All right. They go on social media. They don't call their family. They go on social media and they're like, they try to figure out our names, our first names.
Really?
They're not allowed to know our first names. Nowhere does it have our first name anywhere, you know, but they're clever. They're clever. And so the armor has a detail of privates that helps pass out weapons. Well, you have those weapons cards, right? Well, those privates saw our names in the weapon card. And so we got out. And so we started getting friend requests. This is a cycle ago. So we started getting friend requests from all these privates. And I'm like, how the hell did they find out our names? Well, finger pointing and stuff. You told them, you know, all this crap. And then one of the privates was like, oh, no, we found out because of your weapons cards. And we're like, you slick bastards. You know?
Man.
So a lot of us have fake names, you know, on social media, so they can't find us. Like my name on Facebook is Matt Rigg, and it's just my middle name and in the middle of my last name, Rod Rigg, you know, Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Rigg. So Matt Rigg, and hopefully they can't put two in. That would be crazy. I'd be impressed if they found me. But a lot of us change our names so they can't add us, you know. So
wow. Man, so let me ask you this. So when I got to Leonard Wood, I had just left Canine. I was a dog handler for 12 years. And it's like, I talked to a buddy of mine who was HRC at the time. I was like, man, I'm burnt out with Canine. I got to do something different. Find me a different job. I don't care what it is. Just find me something different. He's like, I have an instructor position at, God, I can't remember the company there at Leonard Wood now. But he's like, I've got an instructor position there. Do you want it? I said, yeah, I'll take it. He's like, your report date's this, but you need to be there a couple days before because you have to go through some kind of class with a sergeant major. I was like, what? It was for all drill sergeants and all instructors. And we were told in this class that you cannot call them private anymore. It's just disrespectful. You can't call them hero, all this stuff. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, the hero thing, I can get that, I guess. But private, that's the rank. So, you know, me, I like to ask questions. I'd raise my hand. I stood up and asked Sergeant Major. I was like, but Sergeant Major, then what do I call you? He's like, well, Sergeant Major. But why? Well, that's my rank. Okay, well, that's what I don't understand is that's their rank. I'm not being disrespectful when I call them private. But then that was 2012. And that's back when, Iraq and Afghanistan was still going pretty strong. He's like, no, we call him warrior. What?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember getting called warrior.
Yeah. I was just like, what? Okay. Most hunters spend all summer shooting at a foam block, a worn out 3D target with a scoring ring or a bright orange bullseye. When that buck of a lifetime steps out at a steep quartering angle, that orange dot on the buck is nowhere to be found. You've been training for a scenario that doesn't exist. If you want to be lethal when it matters, you have to train with reality. That's why I use and recommend Dead Nuts Outdoors. They're 100% made in the USA, producing lifelike, Ultra HD, 2D targets that bring the field to your backyard. When you're talking real animal images, life-sized, and built to withstand whatever Mother Nature throws at them. Unlike traditional targets that force you into a perfect broadside shot, Dead Nuts features multiple shot angles. Because in the woods, animals are unpredictable. Dead Nuts ensures you're ready for the shot of a lifetime every time. These targets are ultralight and packable. You can throw them in the truck for hunting camp or slide them under a bed in the off-season. The slogan says it all: hit the spot, not the dot. Hit it, Dead Nuts. Stop practicing, start preparing. Head over to www.deadnutsoutdoors.com and use my personal code Frontline10 to take 10% off your entire order site-wide. You can also find the link right here in the show notes. Train for the reality of the hunt. Hit it, Dead Nuts. We've all been there. You're 6 hours into a sit, the buck you're after is nowhere in sight, and your knees are absolutely barking against the bark of that tree. Most hunters just suck it up until they can't take it anymore and head for the truck. But you can't fill a tag from a couch. Comfort isn't a luxury, it's a tactical advantage that keeps you in the game longer. That's why you need the knee bag by Light the Fire Outdoors. This isn't some cheap foam pad. It's a patent-pending, bead-filled design that actually molds to your knees and supports your hips. Built from ultra-tough, weatherproof Fedora, it won't soak up water or gain weight when the weather turns sideways. It features padded wings that cradle your knees and even has MOLLE attachments for your thermocellular gear. The best part? It's a multi-seasonal tool. Strap it to your body for saddle hunting, mount it to the tree as a pad, or when rifle season hits, turn it sideways. It becomes a rock-solid 15-inch tree-mounted shooting bag for those precision shots. Whether you want coyote tan or mossy oak bottomland, this is the gear that evolves with your hunt. Stop fighting your gear and start focusing on the hunt. Get yours at www.paradeandslaying.com and use my code Frontline10 to get free shipping on your order. You can also hit the link in the show notes. The knee bag: comfort, evolved, stay steady, stay ready. In the woods or on the water, it's the small details that dictate success or failure. A ruined diaphragm call or a lost fly isn't just a nuisance, it's a blown opportunity. You spend thousands on the hunt, don't lose it because you didn't protect your tools. Puck Outdoors has solved this with their 100% made in the USA and modular twist lock storage systems. For the hunters, the Puck keeps your elk and turkey mouth calls protected, organized, and ready to run. No more warped reeds or searching through pockets, junk drawers, or truck floorboards. For the fisherman, the fishing Puck features a magnetic tray and 4 modular compartments to keep your hooks, flies, and weights locked down and exactly where you need them. It's compact, it's rugged, and it's built to keep your most critical gear in peak condition season after season. The best part is they fit right in your pocket, vinyl harness, or fishing vest. Don't let poor organization be the reason you come home empty-handed. Go to puckoutdoors.com and use code Frontline10 to get yours. That's code Frontline10. You can also find the link right here in the show notes. Protect your calls, secure your tackle, puck in, pack out. But I had never heard that about social media with the whole 6 months after it's considered fraternization. I'd never heard that before. So that's something new for me. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
they're pretty strict on that kind of stuff, and battle buddy system, that's been around for a minute, and they're still very strict with the battle buddy system. I won't talk to a private unless they have a battle buddy. I just probably get the hell away from me. Find me when you have a battle buddy. I'm not going to prison because of you. You know what I mean? So you ain't catching me slipping with that shit. But now it's back. So like what you said, you call them trainees. No, now it's privates. I've been corrected by sergeant majors for calling privates trainees now.
Yeah.
We call them private. We don't call them trainees anymore. So
it makes sense. That's the rank. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I just didn't understand why. To me, if you call me sergeant, that's not disrespectful to me. That's my rank. So, whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, it's kind of like the whole, when you go to, the drill sergeant academy, if I'm a candidate, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not a candidate. I'm a staff sergeant, you know, technically,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
you know, and so why don't you call me staff sergeant, you know? So I saw it as, you know, they're a trainee up until basic training is complete. Then it's AIT. So like, cause you have the whole thing where you show up, you have the fire, you know, rites of passage, and
Oh yeah.
you slap the U.S. Army patch on. You're like, hey, congratulations, you didn't kill yourself or another person. You know, you're now an American soldier. Good job. Get the fuck out of here. You know. So then I assume that's when you call them private because they earned the rank. They're not a trainee.
Yeah.
They technically graduated. They've technically been all requirements for BCT.
Yeah.
But no, you call them private day zero. You know, as soon as they get there. So how we do it, and I like how my company does it, is you show up. They got PV2, PFC specialists, ranks on, PCs with the ranks. They get in there. Hey, everybody that has a rank, take it off right now and throw that shit in your duffel bag. Nobody has a rank for like the first up until AIT.
Oh wow, that's
We're
cool.
all fuzzies. I don't care if you're a specialist. You're a day zero private right now.
Wow,
You know,
that's good though.
And some of them they're like, oh, you know, and I even had one tell me one time, oh, drill sergeant, I'm a specialist technically. I don't give a fuck what your rank is. You know, I don't give a what do you think this is? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry for calling you a private specialist. Even better. You know. Yeah, some of them, man, you're just like, wow. You know, it's crazy
Dude,
things they come up with.
I'll say this, man. You can tell you've been a drill for a bit because you've got that persona about you. You've got that mentality about you. You know, when I went through BNOC, half my class was drill sergeants because they were all on cycle break.
Cycle
And
break.
man, we would sit in class, like our class would be done. They'd release us for lunch or whatever. And we would all hurry up and run and get chow, and we'd run back to class and just sit there, and they would tell stories, man. I was like, God, are you serious? And just listening to them talk, it's like you just don't think kids could come up with the things that they come up with.
Oh, they I don't know how they do it. Just thinking about it hurts my brain. You know, it just like devolves my brain on the stuff that they pull or say or even do. You know, I don't understand how and sometimes it's something funny and you can't break character and it's hard not to break character some of the shit they say, you know what I mean? We had a private come up the other day and tell a drill sergeant randomly, you know, and this drill sergeant is one of the, I would say one of the more non-approachable drill sergeants in a good way. That's a compliment to him. Drill sergeant, I really like your hair. How do I style my hair like that? What? You don't have any hair, private? Like,
No way.
yes.
No way.
And just a creep. I'm like, you're a creep. Why are you looking at his hair? Get out of here. You know what? Everybody's going to pay for that one when we get back. You know what I mean? You're going to get your 15 minutes to digest your food, and then we're going to have some fun, you know? So it's from that to we had a private stand-in formation, and we're inside as soon as you walk in the CQ line, we're discussing the next course of action for whatever we're going to do. And we hear a private screaming outside. And I'm like, did he just say he shit himself? So we open the door and there's a private screaming, drill sergeant, I shit myself. And he's repeating that over and over again to get our attention. So we run out there and we're like, private, I'm pretty sure I heard you say you shit yourself. I'm assuming you're telling the truth. He's like, yes, drill sergeant, I've shit in my pants. How old are you? 24. You're a 24-year-old man. Just shit himself in formation. And now the whole company knows. You know, I'm happy for you. I'm glad this happened. You know, I'm in a better mood now that this happened. You know, I don't understand some of these. You know, how have you not walked into traffic yet? I don't understand. How are you alive at 24?
I wish I could be a fly on the wall at your house to hear conversations you and your wife have when you're done with cycles.
You know, and I really try not to. It's like a horror story. I just try to get rid of it. You know, it's I don't want to talk about it. You know, I just want to move on with my life because it scares me that there's somebody out there that is capable of defending, you know, people to the left or right of them that just shit themselves standing in formation. You know, it horrifies me.
My my battle buddy did that in basic training. So when I went through Fort McClellan, Alabama, and it's the middle of summer. It's hot. You know, we're in the drink water. That was always fun. We'd have our canteens out drinking just canteen after canteen of water. And we're at the range one day, and I don't know if you guys still do it. This was back in '96. We had those targets. You would go down, your battle buddy would be downrange under the berm, spinning the target, and then putting the paddles in it.
We don't have those anymore, but we had those at Benning. No, we
Yep.
have the ones here that pop up the Ivan target. You shoot it, it goes
Yeah.
down. The dot 40. It's a new qualification called the dot 40.
Okay.
So that's the kind of targets they have now. I would not trust privates downrange flipping targets. No way. You're asking for it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's hot. You know, it's Alabama in summer. It's July. It's hot, and we're drinking water the whole time we're out there. Well, a battle buddy, I went downrange to spin targets for him. He decides we're on the range. He's begging the drill sergeant to go to the bathroom. He's like, "Look, you got 5 more minutes. We're gonna hit the latrines. Just relax. Give it 5 minutes." He couldn't. He pissed himself. I have never want to kill a man so much in my life. We had to run around the whole company formation the whole way back to the barracks. Boy, I was pissed. And I told him, I said, "Man, I'm going to tell you right now, you ever do that again, I swear to God, you won't make it out of base training alive."
Oh, yeah.
You will not.
Yep.
Man. But it just, seeing him out there, because that was in BDUs, seeing his BDUs just soaked all the way down to his ankles. Oh, man. But it's, you know, like I said, talking to buddies of mine that were drill sergeants and stuff, hearing their stories, I'm like, man, it can't be the same way. But now talking to you, yeah, it's still the same. It's
same
still
way.
the same thing.
Same. You know, just a different generation. You know, that's all it is. Just nothing changes when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, what do you do when you get a bunch of, you know, 17, 18-year-old, most majority, you know, of kids, no social structure or anything like that, to make a dumbass decision to sign up for the Army, and they get there, and you know, it's just chaos. Their ways of thinking and their ways of not thinking, I should say, not thinking,
Yep.
you know, just start clashing with each other, and it's funny because you got what you call trauma bonding, you know.
Yeah.
So they bond with each other through the first few weeks because they just think that they're going to get murdered every day, you know, they eventually form their little cliques or their little groups together, and you know, and then the funny thing about trainees now, maybe back when you went through, I don't know, but they snitch on each other. They tell on each other.
Yep.
And they know they're going to pay for it, but they hate those people that much, or they hate that other private that much. They're willing to go to the CQ line and tell me, "Drill Sergeant, Private so-and-so has a thing of trail mix under his pillow." I'm like, "No shit. Wow, let's go find out." And so we'll run up there, boom, trail mix. The whole company downstairs right now. You know, we do corrective action. And that private's caught up in there, suffering just as much as that other private. They hate each other so much. Wow. They'll do that. You know, they'll do that. So it's interesting.
Now, have you guys ever had anybody try to sneak out?
Sneak what?
Have you guys had any privates try to sneak out? Like after lights out, take off?
Trying to water this down.
Yeah, you don't have to you don't have to put any details out there you don't want to.
Well, recently we had one because we have cameras in our company. Down the hallway.
Wow. So I didn't know you guys had cameras everywhere.
The barracks rooms, because obviously the females they're up on their own floor, and we have everything together. We had this private sneaking in the stairwell to another bay, another male bay, Well, there was a male in there that snuck his phone upstairs. And I wish I could show you the picture of it, because we found out how he did it, because every time they use their phones on Sunday, they hand you the bag and you physically touch it and then you put it away. And then you get a count. 1, 2, all the way down.
Yep.
What he did was he took his phone out of the phone case, got camo face paint pack, put it in there and taped it and put it in his bag. So when the drill sergeant touched it, it felt like a phone.
Oh, man.
Yeah, pretty smart. I was
What?
impressed. So he sneaks it up there. He has it up there for about 2 days, and he's homies with that private. Hey, I got a phone if you want to come call your girl. So they're sneaking through. Well, he does it one day, and CQ's there, and they see him come out and go in. So they run up there, bust him in the latrine with the phone. Of course, all hell breaks loose. Oh, we were there for 3 more hours, sweating everybody down and yada yada. And that's a big. I personally thought it was a little too dramatic. Well, we got a point across. We had a private, not necessarily sneak away, but we got to take him to the troop store, to get their haircuts and buy whatever they need. He was in a latrine, and he ran outside in formation. We get our count. We turn around to march, and he realizes he forgot his bag of stuff he bought. So he runs back to the troop store to get it. And we don't notice because we're all marching away.
Yeah.
We get back to the company. We do another accountability formation just for these reasons.
Yep.
Where did this guy go? Oh, drill sergeant, I think I saw him run back to the troop store. What? What the fuck? So you get the duty driver to go down there. He's not there. He comes out. This is what he tells us. He comes out. He has no idea what direction we went, even though he was literally in the formation 30 seconds ago. So he decides to just walk forward. This dude walks through, I forgot what road, Gannon Field. You know where Gannon Field is.
Yeah.
Walks across Gannon Field, goes to the PX, goes to the food court, finds, out of all the people not to find, finds a fucking sergeant major and tells him he lost and he doesn't know where his company is.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
That's the one personal base you don't want to find.
Out of everybody in the fucking food court, he goes after the meanest looking, crustiest one, God damn. It wasn't a good day for anybody. Yeah. So there's definitely that. Also, privates like to become suicidal day 0. Yeah. They feel like, oh, I got to get out of here. The most drastic thing. We get some idiot comes downstairs, says there's a private in the restroom slitting his wrist. So we get up and fucking run up there. What the hell? He has a quarter and he's rubbing it in his wrist. You idiot. I'm going to stand here and watch you do that for 1 hour. And I'm curious to see if you can actually cut your wrist open with that. Of course we didn't, but I'm like, you're on the right path. You're helping us out, but let's just do that somewhere else and out of my responsibility.
Yep.
If you're going to be that dumb. So I don't understand some of the stuff they do. We had one eat Tide Pods because he decided he wanted to be there. So we ate Tide Pods. And so we had privates dragging him downstairs and he's foaming at the mouth. Of course, we had to send him to the ER.
Yeah.
And he gets kicked out, obviously. But they get that. I don't understand. I don't understand. I have yet to have one private just be like, you know what, drill sergeant, I want to be here. And not do something crazy and dramatic.
Yep, to try to get out.
Just like, I don't want to do this. I refuse to train. I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm not suicidal. I'm not gonna hurt somebody. I'm not gonna run away. I just don't want to do that. I've yet to have one just man up or soldier up and be like, I can't do this shit. You know.
I
But
saw crazy stuff, man, when I was out there. Just things that I guess me as a private just never thought of that. But I was like, man, like, so you guys used to bus to the buddy team live fire.
we still do.
Okay, you guys would bus to that range, and they get off the bus. All of a sudden, they're grounding all their rucksacks out here in the little sand pit out there, getting them all lined up. Yep. And we're walking as the cadre. We're coming out of the office door at the end of the building, and we just see all the drill sergeants take off running to the bus. Like, cattle truck. Like, what the hell's going on? I guess a private refused to get off the bus. He wasn't doing it. I'm not trained today. I'm staying on the bus. And I thought, man, as a private, I never thought that way, because I knew if I refused to do something, it's going to be shark attack all over again. And that wasn't fun the first time. I don't want to do it a second time.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat as you. I couldn't remember a time when I was a private that I was going to be drill sergeant. I want to do something. Yeah. You know, I refused to do this. No way. I was terrified. You know, and honestly, and here's the thing is these privates that quit or go to behavioral health and waste everybody's time because they got their feelings hurt. You know, they sit there and they're just in our way. And of course we take care of them, but they're just sitting there. They think, okay, tomorrow drill sergeant's kicking me out of the company. I'm going home. No. They'll sit there for months because the process to get them out takes a while. You know, the paperwork, legal, all that stuff takes a while to get them out. We had one private that didn't leave until 2 weeks before graduation. Oh. And he was like, drill sergeant, I feel like I should have just done it. Yeah, no shit, idiot. You would have been graduated by now, but you just sat here and did nothing. Yep. You got paid, congrats. You got paid to do nothing, you know? Yeah. And I tell the privates now, like, look, if you think you're going to quit, it's faster to just do the training than to quit. You know? I'll have my privates write down on a note card when they get there the reason why they joined the Army and their biggest fear. And they put it in there. And I'll read it. You know, I'll read them. And I'll have a private just so they can do it. Well, you join the Army to some of them. You know, one of them joined the Army because she wanted to prove her dad wrong. Because her dad said she never really amounts to anything. And her biggest fear was to fail at it. And she was about to fall out of our 10-mile ruck. She didn't want to do it anymore. And I'm like, well, you're proving your dad right. And she's like, looked at me like, well, you remember writing on the card. I read it. You know, you want to prove your dad right? Go ahead, get in the back of that truck and just sit there and be weak and fail. You know, and she just amped her up and she went. You know, I feel like when she was done, I said, look, probably you did it. I feel like, you know, she kind of gave me that, like, yeah, fuck you too, Joe Sergeant. I could do it. You know what I mean? But hey, whatever it takes, you know?
Exactly.
Whatever it takes, man. And then right before they graduate, they write their cards, you know, to a drill sergeant. They don't have to, but like a thank you card. I thought it was kind of corny at first. Like, I don't care about their thank you cards. I just want them out of here. Yeah. You know? But she wrote me a card. And I'll be honest, I felt grateful for the opportunity to push her to become, you know, to graduate, because she more along the lines like, you know, I'll never forget what you told me. I'll never forget that you pushed me. I always remember that. And I was like, okay, all right, sure. You know, I'll take that. You know, I'll take that one. It's a good one. You know, so yeah. All right, like, some of the like privates that come up to me at graduation, you know, I'll still mess with them. You know, drill sergeant, thank you. You're my favorite drill sergeant. Proud. I fucking hated you. I hated you. I would go home and kick the shit out of my cat because of you. I don't have a cat, obviously, but I just say some shit like that. And they're like, oh, I'm just fucking around. Okay, get out of here. You know what I mean? And yeah. So It's fun to mess with them all the way up till they leave.
It's just funny listening to you talk and tell the stories because, like I said, man, I've got a lot of buddies that were drill sergeants, and you guys all think the same. You all have the same mentality. You all have the same sense of humor, and it's just it. I
Yeah.
You guys all talk the same. You do.
You gotta tone it down sometimes, you know, you gotta tone it down.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I guarantee it because I mean, listen to those guys in class talk about it. I was like, God dang, man. It's funny because I think back to when I went through hearing my drill sergeants talk. It makes me wonder how they talked when they were outside of there, away from everything. But I mean, when you
and
guys,
the funny thing is other drills too, you know, from other companies.
yeah,
It's I don't know what it is about that culture of drill sergeants where just, you know, we're all on the same team. You know, we're training troops, we're pushing troops. But like we'll have like for instance a Bravo or a Delta company, and I walk by them and hey, how's it going, drills? And they're just mad dogging me. I don't know what the fuck is this. We're on the same. You mad dogging me, dog? Like what the fuck? I ain't know. You know, they're looking at me like I'm a private that waved at them. You know, and I'm a curious person, so I'll be like, well, I wonder why. And I'll walk up to them. Hey, why didn't when I said hi? Why did y'all just stare at me? They're like, what? I'm like, y'all just fucking mad dog me, dude. You got a problem? Do I know any of y'all? And some people look at it as me like trying to instigate. I'm not. It just catches my attention when you know. I mean, yeah, I get it. You don't have to say hi to me. If I saw you in a store, you wouldn't ask hello to you. You don't have to say hi to me. I get it. But just that drill sergeant culture, you know, our company's better than your company, or you know what I mean? And they just mad dog each other and I don't like that. So I'll go up to a drill sergeant of the company and just shoot the shit with them like I've known them. And some of them are, you know, they talk and we get along. Some of them stare at me. And I'm like, what's your problem, bro? Why are you acting all tough and shit, man? You good? And they're just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Kind of catches them off guard. But, you know, I'll mess with the drill sergeants just as much as I mess with the trainees, you know, or privates, excuse me. The privates.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, I'm the kind of guy, I got to find humor. I have to find humor every day or I'll go insane. That's just who I am. You know, I have to make some stupid joke or something different, you know. So,
well, and you know, like I said when we first started this, you know, civilian Joe over here, they don't know how your guys' lives are when you have cycles. I mean, you guys you're busy. It's nonstop. You're constantly working. I mean, me and you have been trying to connect for 3 weeks now. I mean, you're busy. That's why I told you, listen, don't stress it. We'll get to it. You do you. I know you're busy. So when you pick up day one, when is your first real break you get in that cycle? Because I know, like, our drill sergeants were there 24/7, it seemed like, for the first month or so. It seemed that way.
So trainees think we stay there. We don't every day, but that's trainees think we live there or private. So you got me saying trainees again. Privates. Privates think we live there because they'll be like, at the end of the cycle, they'll be like, drill sergeant, did y'all live at the company? Like, no, fuck no. But because we're there all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get a break. The only break you get is when you like go take a shit.
Wow.
You know, yeah, you get home, but it's you get home, hey babe, good to see you, shower, you're asleep, you wake up, 30 seconds later, back to work. You know, it's a nonstop 100 miles an hour. I mean, we're there from 3 a.m. to 21 to sometimes 22 at night.
Wow.
You know, the first like week and a half, because it's total command and control.
Yep.
Everywhere a private goes is a drill.
Yep.
Probably needs to use latrine, drill's going with him. Probably needs a shower, drill's screaming at you to get out of the shower. We're not in there with them, but we're yelling at them to hurry up.
Oh, yeah.
Probably gonna go defac. Probably get up in the morning, it's a drill sergeant waking them up.
Yep.
You know, and it's just total control. It's just that whole shock thing that we are talking about earlier, you know, it's just, there's just no escape from a drill sergeant. They have to understand that. There's no safe space for them, you know, at all, whatsoever. So it's and different. There's different companies. They run it different. You know, there's some companies that I would say have it a little easier. You know, there's some companies that only for a week they do that, and then the next week they're doing 1 per in the morning, which is insane, but they do it. you know. And sometimes I'm like, dude, I wish we could do that. You know, one per, we just rotate. Hey, Monday you'll take wake up and I'll come in at chow, or you the next day vice versa. But no, my company has always been 100% everybody on board. We have this whole company right here, and they're not going nowhere. You know, um, so it really depends on our company. My company is just you don't have a break for a while. You know, you don't. Sundays um, are the only half days technically you get. You
Yeah.
know, the drill will come in and then wake up, and then they'll leave at lunch chow, and then the next shift the drills will come in lunch and leave at dinner chow. Of course, everybody's fighting to come in after lunch because everybody wants to sleep in. You know,
Oh yeah.
nobody wants to come in AM shifts.
Yep.
And I'll usually bite the bullet. This cycle, I'm the PSG in my platoon, so I'll come in the morning and just get it over with. You know, but we
And
really
you
don't
guys set up like a
see
rotation for you?
just for that day. You know, not during the week. You know,
Okay.
during training, it's 100% everybody, unless you have CQ. CQ's your break. I'll take that back. So you do get a little break, CQ, right? So it's
Okay.
2 days on, 2 days off. So you do get a breather.
Now, how
Um,
often do you guys pull CQ?
so every night there's a drill there. So it just rotates on the DA6 on who's doing what. But yellow
Okay.
phase and red phase, I wouldn't say CQ is probably more painful than just showing up and doing your daily taskings. You know, it's because they don't know what they're doing. Fire
Yeah.
guard's a mess. CQ's a mess. They don't know what to clean. You have to go up there and wake them up because they're not waking up. It's a hassle. It's a hassle. Speaking of which, um, last cycle, we had issues with people not waking up for fire guard. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple dudes that just don't want to get up.
Yep.
And they're get up. You got fire guard. Fuck you, dude. I'm sleeping. They come downstairs, drill sergeant, so don't want to get up. Now you have to go up there and wake them up. But I wake the whole fucking bay up, you know, and they know
Yep.
that. The whole bay's getting, everybody's on fire guard now. Um, well, one time I said, hey, privates, I want, because you have a bay boss. I
Yep.
said, give me the bay bosses down here. They come down. I said, why, or is this still a problem? Are y'all too scared? Y'all need to fire y'all and find a new bay boss? No, drill sergeant. I said, figure it out. Well, they don't want to get up. Well, then make them get up. You know, make them get up.
Yep.
Well, they went and made a stick from a plunger and wrapped the end of it with a bunch of duct tape into like a hard ball. And that was called, and they wrote the sleep stick on it. And I found it right before they graduated. I said, what the fuck is this? They said, it's a sleep stick. I said, how does it work? They said, can I see that? I said, yeah. They said, well, probably doesn't get up. We wake them up one time. Hey, probably, yeah, fire guard, get up. They don't get up. We hit them on the head with it. And it's a sleep stick. They get up.
Hey.
I was like, Props, when I said to figure it out, you know, this is obviously a very great idea and I love it. And I'm glad I never found out about it because now I can just deny that I knew because I didn't know about it. But
Yep.
this is an amazing trick and I love it. I'm glad y'all didn't kill each other with this thing. Because this is not a soft weapon. This is very hard. You know. So they have figured it out sometimes, you know, on their own.
It's like, listen, I'm not telling you guys to promote violence, but hey,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, figure it out. Make them get up. You know? I didn't tell you to do that.
I got plausible deniability.
Yeah, hey.
I know, like I said, when I went through, it seemed like the drill sergeants pretty much lived there too, as they were always there. But then it kind of like slowly started kind of tapering off. The more we got into AIT, stuff like that, you didn't see them as much. We kind of, I don't want to say we got freedoms. We didn't get freedom. We still had structure, but it wasn't as command directed, I guess.
So that's the issue with this is where it can go back to red phase or yellow phase, right? Because with AIT,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we kind of sit in the back of the classroom, y'all teach, the instructors teach. We
Yep.
get a little, I wouldn't call it freedom, but we're not riding them 100, all day.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen to where the class kept going and there was no issues and the soldiers were fine. I've had it to where the soldiers went absolutely dog shit crazy again, and they were just the most undisciplined bunch you would think. And I'm like, how are these privates about to graduate? These privates are undisciplined. So we went back to red phase, pretty much day 0, without telling them for a whole week until they're like, okay, we can't be acting like this no more. These drill sergeants are serious, that. So,
Wow.
I love AIT, but at the same time, it can have backfire on you, and you're supposed to have a little more leniency and a little more time off during AIT. But like I said, company acts crazy, you're back in it again. So it just depends on how that works.
Now, how much time do you guys have between cycles?
Well, unfortunately, my company has not had really any time. Every cycle that we've had 2 weeks ish.
Wow.
There's companies that had a 6-week cycle break. There was a
Really?
company that had like a 9-month cycle break.
Why so long?
I have no idea. But what pisses me off when they have the audacity to say, "Oh, we don't have any," because we still have details. We still get tasks. Funeral details are a big one. Event, holiday details, parades, and stuff like that. And you have these companies that aren't in cycle say they can't send any drills to help out, and then they pull from us in the middle of white phase or red phase to go pull these details. It's crazy. I don't know who's in charge of that, but they need to figure it out. Because I'm not gonna,
that's something I've said for years. I had a major complaint for years for you guys. So me being a dog handler, it's written in regs that I can't pull. Not supposed to. We're not supposed to pull post staff duty, CQ, stuff like that because I'm on call 24 hours a day. And I always wondered why they didn't have something there for you guys. Because when you guys are in cycle, that's your job. They put you in that position to mold and mentor these kids, because that's what they are. They're 17, 18 years, they're kids, to make them soldiers. That's your job. So I never understood how you guys could get pulled for other details, because I've seen it. I've seen drill sergeants out doing post-wide cleanup.
Yeah.
What? Why is he out here doing this when he's got a cycle going right now? If he's got 2 hours where he can be out here doing this, he can be spending time with his family. You guys don't get a lot of family time. Like you said, you have enough time at the end of the day to come home, hi, honey, eat, take a shower, and go to bed, and get 3 or 4 hours sleep, and you're right back at it. I mean, I never understood that, man. That's the one thing I kept complaining about. Why don't we have it to where people in certain jobs don't pull extra duties? They shouldn't. So I never understood that, man. I could never comprehend that.
I can't either, but at this point, it's just like whatever now. Whatever. And at the beginning, I was like, they're like, hey, you got a funeral detail. What? When? Tomorrow. But we're going to the range tomorrow. Yeah, well, you're going to funeral detail. But okay, or whatever. So, but now I'm like, whatever. Eventually you just kind of harden up and you just do what needs to be done, because eventually I just tell myself it's going to be over sooner than later now. So.
Now, how much longer are you going to stay as a drill sergeant, though?
I hat September.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's coming up.
They asked me to do a 3rd year. I said I would rather, no. Go fuck yourself. No way. I'm not doing a 3rd year.
Do you know where you're going after this?
I'm trying to go back to Hood. Be closer to family.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm trying to go. Hood.
Now let me ask you the golden question here, because you're in the same point of your career where I was at. Are you gonna make this 20?
I am. 12 years in. I don't see a reason why not to get out. I mean, I always, going way back to when we started talking, that HVAC cert will always be there. It will never expire. If I want to do that when I get out, sure. I overall do enjoy the military force comp, I should say. Trade off, never again. Jeez. But I love being out there. I love doing the training with troops and all that stuff. So unless I get injured, hopefully not, I'll stay in and do 20 for sure.
So what do you have any kind of idea where you want to go in life after your 20s over? Do you know? I mean,
yeah, I'm gonna
it
finally
doesn't
buy a
sound like you want
bass
to do law
tracker.
enforcement.
Say what?
It doesn't sound like you want to do law enforcement at all. So
No. I'm gonna buy a bass tracker and smoke a lot of weed and fish.
yeah.
That's what I want to do. That's my plan. That's cool. That's cold one. Cold two. I don't buy a bass tracker. I just buy a bunch of more weed and smoke it. So, yeah, and that's my goal.
That's why I started growing this when I retired. As soon as I retired, I started growing this out. I was like, you know what? I've had to shave every day for the last 20 years. I'm growing hair. I don't care. Done shaving my face. Tired of it.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. Any break I do get, I don't shave and let it grow a little bit. But I mean, I'm definitely gonna grow my hair back out for sure. Before I joined, I had long hair and I enjoyed that. My wife loved it. She was horrified when I shaved my head. But I had to do what I had to do. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I just, man, looking back now, I did my 20. I retired. I don't think I could go back through basic training and reclass 2 or 3 times. I don't think I could. I don't. I mean, I know how it was my first time.
I look at it, and it's crazy when I talk about it because I haven't really talked about that in a long time. But people are like, you went to basic training. Well, technically, I don't count the third one because I was in NCO and it was just AIT. But yes, I went to basic training. I went back to the basics 3 times.
Man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I couldn't imagine, man. I mean, hey, you did it. You did it. I mean, you're doing a great thing now. That's the one thing, man, people don't look at is, in my opinion, I feel like drill sergeants have the hardest job in the military because you have to take a kid that's used to being disrespectful to everyone if they want to, not being held accountable for their actions, and you have to turn that kid into a soldier. You have to. So you guys have a tough job. I mean, you have probably the hardest job in the military. So you guys get my
it ages you. It's
oh yeah,
man. I it's crazy how look. Even myself right now, it's like, dude, I'm so tired. And I feel well rested. But I'm still tired. 5 hours of sleep, I'm good to go. But it doesn't feel like that doesn't show it. But I think a lot of drills they kind of fall into that pit of man, and I think it happens with a lot of active and a lot of vets. The alcohol is a huge one. I see a lot of drills fall in the pit of just drinking alcohol. As soon as they get off, they're just booze hounding.
Yep.
So the next day, show up hungover, or still drunk and bad, or are they their marriages don't survive, and maybe they would have if they didn't hit the trail. That's a big one. And I think that, and it's hard to do this, but I feel like, man, the time when you do have that extra time, you got to find something to do. And it's hard. It's hard not just to come home and sit down and just sit there. You want to do that. It's quiet. You stink. You're dirty. You don't even want to shower. You just want to sit there.
Yeah.
Sleep there. You fall asleep. You don't care. But you gotta find something to do. I think at one point it was altering how it affected me at home.
Yeah.
And so about this time last year, I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym, and I was like, I want to do something different. I'll go to the gym and stuff, but I want to do something different. I feel like I need to break out of this cloud that I had this over me. I got to get out of it, so I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I went to another gym. Now it's more MMA.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that, we get off from the range at 1800, and the last thing I want to do is go roll around the mat with some other dude and get choked and fight for my life. But I'll force myself to drive there, and I'm in this shitty mood. I'm mad. I'm frustrated. Whatever. I get there, we train, and I get in my truck, and it's like just clear and positive and somewhat almost rejuvenated with energy, and way better mood, way better mood. And so I think like that was my thing so far being on the trail is jujitsu / like MMA. That's what helped me just kind of project all like whatever negative energy I'm holding on to from work goes all out there. Goes out.
Man, I'm glad you've got the outlet. I mean, I've heard a lot of guys say that you have to have some kind of outlet to get it out, because you don't take all that frustration from the day home to the family.
Yeah, it's 100%. You don't want to do that, and it's easier said than done. But
oh yeah. Well, and I mean that's what me and my wife we've done before. It's always easier to come home and take it out on the family because they're the closest ones to you. And that's the one thing I had to figure out during my career was, I got to find something. So I used to go to the gym and play basketball after work, just for maybe 30 minutes, just to get that energy out. And then I kind of, like you, I kind of felt rejuvenated, refreshed, and I could go home and it was all good.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, you guys are in a stressful, job and position. So yeah, I'm glad you've got that outlet. But like I told you at the beginning of this, man, I'm not going to take up much of your time. I do want to, on your next cycle break, I want to have you back on to talk about the hunting trip you went on this year. Any hunting you did, I want to have you on for that. But I want you now to go and spend time with the families. I know you don't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we're off tomorrow, So
nice. See, that's good. Now you get a little extra time with the family. That's good then.
Yeah, I'm not only person there is movement drill, That's one of the things that sucks about being a movement drill. Someone's got to be there, and it's you. It's you. But the hunting trip, we're talking about in Texas.
Yeah. I want to have you talk about that. Do you hunt on Leonard Wood at all?
So, no. I've never hunted on Fort Leonard Wood.
How come?